Yes. So I think connectivity got disturbed, possibly because of the issue. Yes. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So
Yes, sir.
basically, yes. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. Now, I think that yes. So first module basically talks about the LPP model. Now, one of the application, real-time application, if we have to see for this particular topic, everyone may have experienced the changes in the dynamic changes in the prices of the airlines. Is it right? Now, what happens is the airlines flight ticket charge, airfare will not be the same most of the times, correct? Like today, if you see the airfare and the tomorrow's airfare, there may be a lot of differences. Now, why this happens? Because of the demand change. Many people may prefer, so the airfare is mainly dependent on the total demand available right currently. Possibly if the total available seats are very much less, then the prices of that will definitely go up, correct? But if the seats are more in number, correct, definitely the air fare will come down. Is it right? Now, so that is the reason this ticket price is usually dependent on many other factors. Many other factors in this one is demand, and next is the season. Whether it is a really off season or of the season where people prefer to travel, or maybe the third reason for the fluctuation in the price of air can be uh, the, the destination also, whether it is holiday location. So there may be n number of reasons like this, correct? So based on all these reasons, what happens? The prices of the airfare will fluctuate. Now, how these fluctuations are being determined or how these prices are being determined is now there is a sensitivity issue. Is it right? Now, small change in the petrol price or the petrol price will make a lot of difference in the airfare prices also because they have to make substantial changes even in the airfares based on the petrol prices, correct? Is it right? So there is something called as a sensitivity analysis. Now here in the LPP, what is being done is based on all these different parameters, the airfare prices can be determined. Correct. So that is one of the applications. What we see in terms of LPP. Correct. Our linear program problem also has another application in manufacturing units. The manufacturing units, let's assume that there are two different. There is a company which actually manufactures two different products. Let's assume that it is table as well as chairs. Okay. So now what happens is with the available budget. Now with the available budget, the company has to decide what should be the total number of tables and chairs that has to be manufactured by it. Why? Because with the available budget, they cannot purchase infinite number of raw materials, is it right? Or they cannot hire infinite number of labors. So with the available budget, what is the total raw materials that can be purchased? The total direct and indirect costs that can be borne by the company. So all these factors has to be taken into consideration, and then they have to decide on what should be the total number of products that can be manufactured. Okay, so this is the main intention of LPP. Actually, LPP, what it does is the main intention of LPP or the linear program problem is formulation of mathematical equations and determine the total number of products that can be manufactured. Now, previously, just few moments back, I mentioned even the airline tickets, the prices of the airlines. In that particular example, we can use LPP and we can determine the total number of tickets that can be issued based on this particular situation. What should be the total number of tickets that can be issued, that can be made available to the customers, that can be decided by the using LPP. Okay, so these are the different type of the algorithms that can be used by the companies. Okay, so this is about the first module. Now, similarly, if you have to see, second module is transportation model. Transportation model is transportation model. If you have to see, it is in the as just few moments back I mentioned about LPP, that is linear program problem. Now, this model, what it did was we could decide the total number of products that can be manufactured by the company. Transportation model helps us in deciding the transportation cost. Is it right? So this is a globalization era, correct? So many of the products actually raw materials can be purchased from different countries, and the manufacturing company what it does is purchases the product and processes it and develops a final product. Is it right? Now, when they decide the cost, the selling cost or the price of a product, uh, it has to see that the transportation cost of the raw material is kept to minimum. Is it right? For example, when they are actually sourcing the product, uh, or when they are actually, let us assume that the products are already manufactured. Is it right? Now, once the products are already manufactured, it has to be transported to either the warehouse or to the retail outlet. Is it right? Now, uh, let us assume that this particular a firm has manufacturing units at two or three different places. Correct. Now, uh, from which unit the transportation can be conducted? That is the question, because the transportation cost should be very much less. Is it right? So, from which source or from location the retail outlets actually can get the products at a cheaper rate, correct? So that can be decided using transportation model. So different type of the plans, different problems are discussed in this particular module. That is the second module, which actually decides the transportation cost. Okay. So here also the main objective is to reduce the cost and increase the profit. So again, the second module, we are discussing assignment model. Now, in assignment model, what happens? As a project manager, there is one important responsibility that the project manager takes up. That is nothing but allotting the work to different workers. Correct. So the project manager has to identify the strengths and the weaknesses of each of the workers, and then accordingly the work has to be allotted to them. Is it right? So assignment model actually helps a project manager in allotting the work to different workers. Not only allotment of the work, but also allotment of the for even the finance analyst, basically, which uh, which investment is better. Uh, that also can be decided using the assignment model. That means the so it is basically about allotting the one particular parameter with the another. Are you getting it? So here the work is allotted to the workers. Similarly, the portfolio or the investment portfolio is allotted to a particular investor. Okay, so which type of investor can actually invest in a particular investment, that can be decided using the assignment model. Correct. So next is the third module, that is network analysis. Third module, network analysis. If you have to see, the main application of network analysis is in different types of the projects. Let us consider one such example of project, like in the previous semester, that is the first semester. So in my subject itself, you had conducted a market research survey. Correct. So in this particular survey, what had happened was initially in the beginning of the semester, you started with finalizing the title of the research topic, correct? And once that was finalized, then the literature survey was being conducted, correct? And subsequently, you decided the objective of your study and data questionnaire. The list of questions were prepared using Google Forms, and after that, the data analysis was being done. Finally, the conclusion was being written. Is it right? So simultaneously, presentations were taken, and wherein each of the group actually presented their topics to the class, and they collected different type of the comments. Reviews were being done, given by the faculty, and those reviews were considered, and several changes were correct. So this is nothing but a project itself. It is nothing but a list of activities. Similar type of project, even if you can see, uh, advertising of a product itself is a project itself, correct? Why? Because their identification of the celebrity has to be done. Once that identification of the celebrity is being done, next the product features which is to be advertised, that has to be finalized. Main important issue is the total budget has to be finalized, correct? And advertising agencies has to be selected, correct? So which actually prepares all these advertises. Advertising channels have to be decided, and how much money, how much budget has to be allotted for each of the advertising agencies, correct? So this is nothing but another project. Is it right? Now, network analysis and project, what is the connect between these two things are nothing but each of the project can be converted into a network. Why? Because each of the activities are interrelated. Now, how we can say that they are interconnected is because let us assume that once the budget is being finalized, only then you can start purchasing the raw materials, hiring the new employees, so on and so forth. Because the company should know what is their limitations, right? So under these limitations, they actually have to play the game. Is it right? So they have to see that the direct and indirect costs are within that particular budget. Is it right? So if you have to see the budget allotment as well as whatever different activities are there, so they are interrelated basically. So when there is an interrelationship, you can call it as a network. Is it right? So that is the reason network analysis is being done. Uh, Network analysis, different type of the different type of the interpretations are possible here. We can actually determine the total duration of the project, so on and so forth. Okay. Next, replacement theory is the fourth module. Let us assume that I have a laptop here with me. Is it right? Now, whatever classes I have conducted and whatever the reading materials I distribute with the others, correct? So all these things basically is very much important for me, correct? Because this is something which I have created by myself. The data is very much important for me. Is it right? Now, I do not want to see that when I get up tomorrow and when I open the laptop, I do not want to see that the laptop has not working at all. Correct? I want to see that the laptop is working fine and I'm working in the laptop. Is it right? So replacement theory, what it does is it identifies, helps the project manager in identifying that replacement period. So what is the total duration after which we can actually replace an item? So here in this particular example, that is in the laptop example, if you have to see, it is always preferred or suggested for an individual to replace the electronic devices time to time before it actually fails. Is it right? So we should not wait until the electronic devices actually fail. Correct. So that is the reason replacement theory helps us to identify that particular duration that particular duration after which we are supposed to replace. Maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, correct? Maybe anything. Now you see so many of the processing units, rice processing unit, cashew processing units, or wood processing units. That is about the small and the medium scale enterprises. Similarly, if you go above that, there are mobile uh, the you have to see the mobile hardware uh, manufacturing product. The machines are there, correct? The machines which actually helps in manufacturing all these mobile hardwares. Is it right? Electronic equipments manufacturing. Correct? So if you have to see the heart of any manufacturing units, its equipments. Is it right? So they have to identify what is the right time to replace those machines. Even if you have to see, even for a software developing company, the heart of software developing company is electronic devices. It may be the servers, the laptops, right? The UPS, inverters, so on and so forth. And they should see that all these electronic devices are working fine on day-to-day basis. Now, if they have to see that all these things are working fine, they have to replace all these equipments at the right time. Otherwise, they cannot wait until the electronic devices uh, suddenly fails. Correct? If it fails, what will happen? Correct. Let us assume that two or three electronic equipments fails. Then what will happen is the work will stop, and they will not be able to work for 2 3 days. And subsequently, what will happen is website development, web application development companies will not be able to deliver the product on the said date. Correct. That is the reason replacement theory is very much important. Correct. So this is about the fourth module. Now talking about the fifth module, it is about simulation. Now under simulation, what will happen is so if I think many of them are aware about this Airbus aeroplanes. So many different types of airlines are being produced. Uh, I think one of the recent innovation is Airbus, which has so huge capacity of passengers. Correct? It can accommodate so many passengers. Now, before these airline manufacturing companies actually manufacture or develop all these airlines, okay, what they do is they prepare a small prototype. Small prototype in a sense, what a small reduced version, a small uh, airline is being prepared, and a different which actually functions the same way like the Airbus. Correct? It will be having the same features like what you find in Airbus. It is made to undergo different type of the air pressures. Okay, why it is done so? Because the company wants to know how it would behave under different types of the air pressures, atmospheric conditions, rainfall conditions. Correct. So because once it is being prepared in a larger scale, they have to bear the risk. If something happens to the passengers, they have to bear the risk. Is it right? So that is the reason. What will happen is they prepare a smaller prototype, a smaller version of aeroplane, and once that succeeds, they go for a bigger version. Okay. So this is about simulation. Simulation basically tries to create an artificial environment, and uh, in that artificial environment, basically the different inputs are given to the system, and different inputs to the system in the sense like the aeroplane, as you said, the different air pressures are given to the uh, to the airplane just to see how it actually behaves under different atmospheric conditions. Correct. So this is about basically simulation is all about. That is the fifth module. So if you have any type of doubts, you can ask. So about in-depth concept about all these five modules, we'll see when we actually get into the each of the modules. Okay. Now about the internal components, I will let you know about the internal components right now. Two sessionals will be there. And since there is pandemic situations, the group project may be doubtful, but there will be the individual assignments more in number, correct? So that is the reason. So the internal component will be discussed later on. Okay. Uh, and next thing is about the textbook, the suggested textbook. The suggested textbook is ND Ora, the one which I have highlighted here. That is ND Ora. The same thing you will be getting. The same textbook you will be getting. Now the problems which are solved in this, solve these problems, that is sufficient. And even I am referring for my class, I am referring the same textbook. That is ND Ora. Okay, so if you refer this particular textbook, that is sufficient. Okay, so this syllabus as well as the lesson plan is being updated in the LMS. You can just download it from there. Now, one more aspect here I want to make it clear is that all the five modules, are purely mathematical, so you'll not have any theoretical aspect. And another thing which I want to mention here is many students have found this subject a little bit difficult. Okay? And in the past, many students had failed. I just want to see that the students are cautious about this particular subject, and they are starting their preparation right from the beginning of the semester. So when I'm telling that students are supposed to prepare, it means that you have to score well in the first and the second session. You see that you are taking the first and second sessional seriously. Okay. Is it right? So don't be under the impression that it is pandemic and the exams, the final semester end examination will be waived off. Don't be under that impression, right? Because last year the exams were postponed or it was cancelled, but this year we do not know. Still, there is a lot of time remaining for the end of the semester. So always the students can be called to the college and they may be asked to write the offline examination. Is it right? So see that you are taking this particular subject seriously and you are preparing for the session, and subsequently you are preparing well for the final semester in exam. Correct? So this is basically from my side. If you have any doubts, you can ask.
So this is uploaded in Moodle.
Correct. Yes. This is uploaded. Both of the Word documents are uploaded in the Moodle. That is syllabus as well as the course plan. That is the lesson plan. Both of the Word documents are uploaded yesterday itself.
Sir, all the 5 modules are sums.
Correct. Yes. So all the 5 modules will be related to problems. So there are no theoretical aspect. Even in the question paper, if you take out any year's question paper, you see that 20% may be theory, but 80% is problems. Problems are actually simple, but only thing is that the length of the problems are so you require more time to solve the problem. Problems are basically easy that you will realize when you are actually solving or attending the class, but only that the length of the problem is the main issue. Yeah? But whatever it is, only if you prepare for the examination, it is you'll be able to pass this particular subject as well as the score. Now, one of the yes, if you have any doubts, you can ask.
So do we have to use any software?
Software in the sense MS Excel is being used for the third module. The third module will be using MS Excel. So, one document which I have projected here mentioned. So here MS Excel will be used in preparing different types of interpretation. Correct. So in order to develop different types of interpretation, when project managers will be using MS Excel or similar type of softwares, just to see that the project is under control. Okay. So project is under control means what? The resources used are optimized, optimally used. Optimally used means what? They are not overusing a particular resource as well as they are not underutilizing it. Project manager sees that all the machines as well as the labors uh, are equally getting the work. Right? And they are seeing that the project cost is being maintained and the project cost doesn't go beyond the project budget. Is it right? So for this for the sake of convenience, the project analysis is being done, and that is being done using MS6. Yes. Any other questions?
This will be a written exam, no, sir?
Yes. Yes. This will be the written examination. There will be a written examination, like uh, how you wrote the first semester examination. The same way you will be writing the same examination for this particular subject.
What about internal
Internal component, internal assessment.
assignments?
Assignment, yes, probably in 1 week or so, I will just let you know about it.
What will be the assignment?
That's what, like the clarity on that. In another 1 week or so, I will just let you know.
Yes.
See, basically the assignment will be possibly what assignment I'm thinking right now is I'll be giving list of questions and it will be individual assignment and you'll be asked to solve those problems and submit it individually. Currently, that is the plan. But let's see if the situation is fine. Then we will have the group assignment also as we go. Okay. But right now, the clarity will be given in another 1 more week regarding the internal assignment.
Yes, sir.
Any other doubts, clarifications? Yes, one observation what I found, see, I think research and quantitative methods one, some few papers I could correct, and I believe that whatever papers have corrected the same will be the performance across all. That is my assumption. So keeping that as an assumption, I'm just discussing this topic here. See, basically, 4 modules I had completed in the class, and one module I had completed it through online. And basically, my experience is that the classes or the topics which I completed in the class, okay, only those topics, uh, the answers related to those topics were written by the students. That means only 80 marks. That was attempt for only 80 marks. 20 marks, I think many of the students not studied in the last module. And even though it was so much easy, only some you had studied some 4 or 5 topics, then you could have attempted 10-15 marks extra. But the attempt itself I could not find in the in that particular subject. So because of which the total attempt has reduced to 80 marks. Correct. That is the reason. Usually, what I do is I give notes in the class. I make students to write notes in the class. Now, even if I have circulated the online class, the word slides were circulated with the students, correct? And all the reading materials were given to the students. Still, the fifth module component type, that deficient I could find uh, while correcting the answer papers, correct? Because of this, the attempt has reduced. Now, the main reason why students fail in the examination is because of lack of internal marks. Now, that is the reason, even in the previous years, if I have to see, last year, anyways, the students were pushed just like that. But before to that, students actually failed because of the internal marks. Internal marks was not up to the expectation, correct? So, what I want this batch students, what I expect from this batch students is you have to keep the minimum expected marks. You should not go beyond the expected marks. At least 30 and above should be your target. You should not see that you are scoring only about 20. 30 and above should be your target. Only then you will be able to easily pass this particular subject. And scoring, definitely you can score whatever marks you want. But main thing right in the beginning, I'm just making it clear. And I do not want my students to be very much under the assumption that this subject we can clear it easily. This subject has to be taken seriously. And you have to prepare well. And right from the beginning, whatever classes I'm completing, see that you are preparing well for each of the. After completing my class, see that you are just re-looking into each of the topics. And if you have any doubts, you can always call me and get it clarified. Correct? But see that you are keeping 30 marks minimum in the internal. Otherwise, what will happen is it will be difficult to score in the final semester in the examination because of the lack of time. You will not get much time to prepare in the examination. You do not know after what duration you are going to you will be asked to write the examination. Correct. So that is the reason. Uh, yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes. See, only thing is that I want everyone to be serious about this particular subject. That's it. And start preparing for this particular subject right from the beginning itself. Okay. So what we'll do in this particular session is 5 more minutes is remaining. We'll start with one, that is the third module, that is network analysis. Okay, so we'll just write the definition of the same, and after that we'll conclude the. Okay, so we are going to discuss the title of this module is network analysis. Network analysis. So as I'm writing on the whiteboard, you can just make the notes subsequently. Okay. Now, what does network analysis mean? Network analysis is what it is a technique. It is a technique used for planning, and control of a project. All right. Network analysis is nothing but main intention of network analysis is to control the project, control as well as planning. So project manager, what is the role of a project manager? He has to see that he coordinates the project well, correct? Whatever budget is allotted the project manager should see that it is being properly utilized, and even if it is underutilized, it is fine, but it should not go beyond the expected budget. Is it right? So that is nothing but control of project. So next is about project. What do we exactly mean by project? Is nothing but it is list of activities. It is list of activities like what you did in the previous semester. You did the research project in the previous semester. Is it right? So research project is nothing but it is list of activities again. That is a list of activities. Correct. So that is directed towards completion of the completion or achievement of the desired objectives. Okay, completion or achievement of the desired objective. Okay. So you can just make note of whatever I'm writing on the whiteboard. Okay, so next is what is the application of this network analysis? The main application of network analysis is R&D projects. So R&D projects. So if you have to see, R&D projects means what? It is basically about if you have to see different types of the research and developments are being done. correct? And if you see, all the companies conduct research. And why this is done? Because before developing any type of new product, research is to be conducted in order to assess the competitors, in order to assess the market environment, correct? Research and development has to be done, right? Similarly, new product development and advertising a product, advertising of a product. Next, market research. Next, website application. Now, new product development and website application development is both are the same. Why? Because both can be considered as a product itself. So these are the different applications. Yes, one more application we can find is construction. This construction can be road construction, railway construction, correct? Similarly, building construction also can be considered under this, correct? So all these are nothing but application of network analysis. Okay, so all these are nothing but these are the applications of network analysis. You can just make note of this. We'll continue it in the next class. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.